That's some real digging in the crate shit right there. If I would have known that, shit.
Yeah.
Y'all have to give me a Lifetime Achievement Award for
For
that
sure.
shit. Listen, once we in the same room, or even when we're not in the same room, but especially when we in the same room, you gotta understand that we are equal.
Right.
The only thing that's separating me and you is time and effort. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah?
You know why?
Why?
Because that was the day I got banned from BET.
No way.
Yes.
You're not banned because you sitting here
Well,
right
I'm
now.
here
What are you
now,
talking about?
but
When was the last time you cried?
last time I cried, probably like 2 months ago.
2 months ago? I feel like that's too long ago.
Oh, listen, you don't know the half. It's very hard for me to cry.
Yeah?
So
Was it a ball out session? Or was it just a tear or two?
Was I balling?
Was he? It was like 2 tears? 1 or 2? Okay. All right.
And that was hard work.
It was?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, the therapy session starts in 5, 4. Let me know when you're ready.
I thought we started. I thought that was the start.
What's going on, y'all? I'm Mia Bell. We're back with another episode of BET Talks, and it is my pleasure to be sitting with the ultimate multi-hyphenate, okay? I'm talking about actor, philanthropist, artist, founder, and one of the youngest artists in residence at NYU's Clive Davis Institute. Hello, Professor Badass.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good.
Yeah.
Happy to be here. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course. It's all in the presence.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Now, before we get into all things Impact Mentorship and, of course, your NYU residency, I do want to play a game and talk about the people who really taught you lessons and that you've learned from.
Love games.
Yeah. Me too. So we're going to get straight into it. Is that okay with you?
Mm-hmm.
All right. It's called Word Association, a.k.a. Lesson Association.
Okay.
Now, what did Mom Dukes teach you?
One of the things that come to mind, like just off the top of my head, is his side, her side, and the truth. There's 3 sides to every story.
Okay.
You know, and I think that just kind of taught me to have an open mind to how perspective plays its part. Like how, you know, it's my perspective, it's your perspective, and then there's the context of everything that puts our perspectives together, which ultimately gives us what is the truth of what's happening.
I like
So,
that.
yeah, that's one of the things that she told me that has always left an imprint on me.
Now, what about a high school teacher?
High school teacher, not high school, but middle school teacher. She always said, if you on time, you late. So that means you got to show up a little bit before
Right.
the time. And, you know, I'm still trying to get accustomed to that one.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I'm still trying to, you know, get in tune with that. But that always plays in the back of my head.
Of course. Now, what about RZA? Because we know, you know.
RZA was like a mentor to me early in my career because when I was running my Pro Era Collective and label, you know, I was responsible for the careers of about 6-7 artists.
Yeah.
So I used to reach out to RZA to kind of just gain some wisdom from someone who has been in a similar position. You know, with him running the Wu-Tang Clan and getting Old Dirty signed over here and then Method Man signed over there. I really wanted to understand what was the wisdom that he gained from that and if he would encourage or advise me to move about it the same. Because I was getting offered, like, you know, different opportunities. Like, you know, labels wanted me to bring all my artists to one label, and I was trying to figure out which role to be the best. So shout out to the bot because he definitely gave me a lot of pointers and direction early on when I needed it.
Of course. Did you use that in general in reference to
Well,
playing a Wu-Tang Clan member? Inspector Deck.
I won't say I used anything from that specifically, but, you know, just one funny story is like, you know, I never wanted to do that role because I never wanted to play a rapper.
Right.
Because I'm already that, you know, in real life. But because RZA was such a great friend of mine, I chose to do it because I'm like, you know, they asking me to do this. It's the Wu.
Right.
It's, you know, so that's what happened.
Yeah.
Ultimately. Yeah, it was my love and respect and admiration for him that made me bypass something that was like a deal breaker for me. You know.
What about your son? What is something that you've learned, a lesson? It can be something fun too that you're learning as a father, and just
I don't have
a lesson in life. No?
Maybe I will have a son though.
In the future.
Yeah, I have a daughter.
A daughter. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh. I apologize for
Yeah,
that.
no, it's all good.
Yes, your
It's all good.
daughter.
Maybe you're manifesting something.
Do you want a boy?
I love a boy.
Okay.
Yeah,
In the future.
yeah.
What about your daughter? Something that she's taught you or something that you're learning as a father?
I would say patience and sensitivity.
Right.
You know, yeah, my baby girl, she is very sensitive to say the least.
Yeah.
So I'm always aware of like how I'm approaching her, how I'm saying things, how I'm approaching certain topics. Because I always want her to be comfortable to speak to dad. You know what I'm saying? I want her to feel like dad is like a safe haven and not anything that she should be like afraid of.
Right.
You know, so.
That's beautiful. You've learned a lot of beautiful lessons from the people in your life. Now, I was looking into your BET moments, and I took it back to 106 in Park.
Oh,
Young Joey.
I don't even know what I was doing up there. You know what?
Oh, my God.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah?
You know why?
Why?
Because that was the day I got banned from BET.
No way.
Yes.
You're not banned because you sitting here
Well,
right
I'm
now.
here
What are you
now,
talking about?
but Young Joey was banned.
Yeah?
You know what I'm saying? Not Professor Joey, but Young Joey was banned. And the reason why I was banned was because I was there. It was my first time on 106 in Park. I think I was like 12. Now I was like 18. And
You looked very much so
I
12,
look
even
like
though
12
you're
now, that's a
18.
fact. And I was with like 40 of my guys. We're in the dressing room. And it's like, you know, the question got brought up about like, yo, should we smoke in here? And I was just like, I had a moment. And I was like, you think Snoop Dogg go outside to smoke? And one of my guys was like, no. And I was like, then light that shit up. I was like, if anything, we will ask for forgiveness, not permission. And yeah, they let me do my 106 in Park segment, but after that, they was like, yeah, never again.
Wow.
You are banned.
Okay.
From the building.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you know,
That
that
was
played
your-
out well for y'all, BT, because I'm still here.
Now, we have a hip-hop quiz for you.
Okay, let's do it.
I know you're a 90s baby.
I mean, let's see how much.
Yeah, I want you to name a few hip-hop collectives from the 90s. Give me 3.
Native Tongues,
Uh-huh.
De La Soul,
Easy.
Tribe Called Quest,
Come on. Give me 5 now. 2 more.
Wu-Tang Clan, Laws of the Underground. What else? Shit, Zulu Nation.
Ooh. You passed the test.
All right.
Yeah. What 1991 posse cut was known for introducing Nas?
Barbecue.
Give me the whole name.
Live at the Barbecue.
Okay. And what was the name of the album the song was featured on?
Oh, that I don't know. This is where my
That's a bonus
millennial-
question, though.
That's with my millennial chop show. I don't know the album it was on.
That's a bonus question.
Was that MC Search album?
No. Breaking Adam.
Yeah, I was never getting that.
Now.
That would have been like, that's some real digging in the crate shit right there. If I would have known that, shit.
Yeah.
Y'all had to give me a Lifetime Achievement Award for
For
that
sure.
shit.
I didn't know. I had to go back and do some research. Like, hold on. Now, what about rappers who act and the projects they acted in?
Okay.
I'll name a rapper. You tell me a project.
Tupac, Juice.
I wasn't even going to say that one
Okay.
because I know you'd get
Okay.
it. So,
Ice
no.
Cube,
You're now
Boys in the
disqualified.
Hood.
Banned. Queen Latifah.
Set it off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Eve.
Moesha? Was even Moesha?
Where do you go to get a lineup?
Oh, shit. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. I said Moesha, but I meant barbershop. That's what I was trying to say.
Right.
Yeah, I meant barbershop. Yeah.
You know. What about Snoop Dogg?
Oh, Baby Boy.
Okay. Oh, yeah. That's a good one. Bow Wow, Shad Moss, whatever
Like
you want
Mike.
to call him. Okay.
Yeah.
Was that an inspiration to you at all back
It
then?
was actually.
Really?
It was. Bow Wow was actually, shout out to Shad Moss, because he was actually a very early inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was a kid seeing the kid have success. I'm like, I could do that.
Right.
I've just always been that type of person. Like, all I gotta do is see somebody do it, and I can do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about Wiz Khalifa?
Devin and Matt go to high school.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, that's it, right?
Last one.
Tupac.
Ice Cube.
Friday.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You passed the test again. -1 though. You're a great student.
-1.
Yeah. Professor Badass. You got it.
Every good teacher got to be a good student.
Your Impact Mentorship Program. Why was that something important for you to start?
Well, I was inspired by my own mentor, Sophia Chang, who
is also in the building.
Who's also in the building. Yeah, she's somewhere. So Sophia founded a mentorship program for women of color called Unlock Her Potential.
Yes.
And I was a part of it as a mentor for a few years. And I think on the third year, when I was returning as a mentor, I posted up on my Instagram, just kind of let people know I was doing it, so people could, seek the opportunity. And I couldn't help but notice there were a lot of men in my comments that were like, yo, we need something like this for men, we need something for men of color. And it caught my attention because I couldn't agree more with the sentiment, and I hit Sophia immediately. I'm like, yo, we need to unlock his potential.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because there's men out here, men of color out here, who's searching for the information and the resources and the access, and they don't know where to go. So that idea quickly became Impact Mentorship because we decided that we didn't want to compete with what she had already created. And we put it together in 2 months, and then by month 3 we were announcing it to the world, and we opened up applications, and now it's about a year or 2 months since we've done that, and a lot has happened, a lot has transpired from it. A lot of lives have been impacted and touched by it. I mean, one of my most proudest things that have come from the success of the program is one of our mentees who was underneath Sasha Penn, who was the showrunner and creator of Raising Kanan. He got Sasha Penn invited him into the writer's room for season 5.
Oh, wow.
So that speaks to
right,
and that speaks to the goal and the mission of Impact Mentorship.
Yeah.
It's I want to be able to look back 20, 30 years from now and see future leaders and pioneers of tomorrow who were direct descendants from the program, people who we help create pathways for. That's trying to make space for us, for more people that look like me.
How do you select your mentors, and how much time do your mentees actually get to spend with their mentors, and what are they learning in that process?
So, I mean, it varies, right? Because, every mentor schedule is different.
Right.
And then these are very high functional people, right? So the agreement or the idea is 12 sessions in a year. So once a month for an hour. They meet with their mentees and exchange whatever information. They can go about it however they want, whether it be a phone call or Zoom or in-person meetup if they happen to be in the same city or state.
Right.
And they kind of take it out from there. But there's no set curriculum that we give to our mentors. It's kind of up to our mentors to teach and share their information the way they choose to.
Now, these mentees are getting a prime time experience by having this hands-on, interaction with people who are really in the business. And that brings me to your NYU residency that I had the pleasure of attending and really seeing how you are with the students. And, shouts to Naima Cochran, who held a beautiful discussion. I learned so much about your work and everything that you do in this space. Now, sitting in front of that class, what does it mean to you for those students to really hear your story and know that, everything that you've done is something that they can do too?
Yeah, I mean, I always kind of just want to serve as a reminder for people that listen, once we're in the same room, or even when we're not in the same room, but especially when we're in the same room, you got to understand that we are equal.
Right.
The only thing that's separating me and you is time and effort. That's it, So I always kind of want to just be that reminder for kids you can have success and accomplishments, but still be down to earth, still be willing to, help the next person or help the next generation make waves and pull them up, And I think maybe that means a lot to me. I think it's definitely just my heart and my nature as a person, but maybe it means even more to me because I didn't have that coming up, you know what I'm saying? So I want to make sure I can provide that when and where I can. Yeah.
Coming up, did you always feel like you had a leader instinct and just someone who would eventually be in front of the classroom in that regard?
Yeah, I could say that because that's another one of the principles that my mom's raised me on was be a leader, not a follower. I actually remember the first time where I met somebody who I thought was worthy of following, and that's when I met my brother Capital Steez.
Oh wow!
He was the
Rest in
first person I
peace.
met in my life where literally when I met him and we was talking and we was starting to build a relationship, there was a voice in the back of my head where it's like, this is somebody you could follow, you know? And so yeah, but it's funny because the ironic thing about that, me making that conscious choice within myself that I can follow him and I could look up to him because he was 2 years older than me, so I kind of looked up to him like a big brother. He ended up making me leader of the collective.
Right.
He was like, yo, Joe, you the leader. I'm more like the teacher or the anchor. You gonna lead from the front and I'll make sure nobody get left behind from the back.
Wow.
And, you know, when he said that, I just knew what he meant right away. And I knew what it was that he saw in me, and that day he put the extra battery in my back.
Yeah. Do you keep him in mind with all the things that you do, especially now in your career?
Absolutely, all the time.
Yeah. Wow. Rest in peace to Capital Steez, of course. Now, when it comes to music, I know that you're working on, putting out a project soon.
Oh, yeah.
We have gotten some, singles, some collabs with different artists, which we love. Corday, Syrup Sandwiches. Now, talk to me about that and the space that you're in music. Because I feel like this particular era is going back to the music that actually matters. Like, people are listening with a different ear.
Right. Yeah, for me, music is my main channel.
Right.
So I've gotten to the point where the output that I put there is kind of like automated in a way. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, right now, I know I'm working on an album, so I'm like, okay, cool. How do I keep myself active in music while I am absent? Do a bunch of features.
Right.
And I love collaborating with artists because I'm the type of artist where when I'm working on a body of work, everything that I'm working on is really geared towards that.
Okay.
Like if I'm gonna even go to a studio, I can't deviate. If I feel like I need to create, it needs to be in the key of
that
whatever idea or direction that I'm going towards. So being able to collaborate and show up on features gives me that escape.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? To go into these other worlds. But also, it gives me the opportunity to be able to tap into my versatility.
Okay.
Because that's another thing for me, right? Is like, I get really bored doing one thing all the time or too long.
Right.
Gotta switch it up. You know what I'm saying? So, like, might do Afro beats.
Shout out to Uncle Waffles. And
I'm shouting out Jules, but I'm a piano. I
I'm
might hop on that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
But even with that, I'm listening to the record and I'm like, what are you gonna do on this?
Right.
And you slid.
Word. Appreciate
Come on.
Appreciate it. Yeah, and that's just a scratch of the surface of what it is that I can do. So I know that I have to gradually, have people discover these different facets and these different sides of me musically. So and I think a great way to do that has always been through features.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like I got a bunch of Afrobeats music that I've created, but the world doesn't know that. So how do I get them prepared for that where it's not such a shocker by the time it comes?
You gotta ease them in.
We hop on the Uncle Waffles record. We hop on the Jules record. You know what I'm saying? And we use these different these strategies. So now when I come with my joint and this is my song, it's like, oh yeah, like nah, he do that.
Of course. Yeah. And what would you say your process is now? Because you're in a different space in life, You're getting older. You got a lot of things going on too. Your residency, your acting, family life.
Right.
How do you separate and what is process for you now?
It's like as far as how do I
make your music? You going into the studio dolly, you calling one producer up like, hey, I need you you know?
Honestly, my process musically is impulsive.
Okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Kind of like it like that.
Yeah.
Kind of like it like that.
What inspires you these days?
What
do you find inspiration
inspires
in?
me a lot, like throughout the years, was reading. Because I feel like every one of us, we walking around with this invisible bucket of inspiration.
Right.
And some of us got holes in the bucket, right? So it drains faster. And some of us just low. And, you know, there's different things that we can do that refills that bucket. And for me, reading has always been that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like me going to seek out information that I didn't have, or to like educate myself with something that I didn't know, always kind of gave me some type of fuel to be able to move my pen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reading. It's fundamental. Y'all should start doing it. Y'all should start doing more of that.
That's a fact.
Yeah. Now, acting. Finally, unique. First of all, when that happened, I knew it wasn't the end. I just got to say that. But when it comes to acting in general and just role playing and, you know, having to switch up who you are or tap into just different versions of yourself too, where does therapy come into play? Two Distant Strangers. I couldn't even finish because it was just too much for me at the time.
Oh, yeah.
The uprising, you know, everything that we deal with as black people in general. You are a black man. It's different for you. You know what I'm saying? So,
absolutely. You know, it's interesting. I'm glad that you brought that up, because with Two Distant Strangers specifically, when I was offered that role, was at a critical point in my life, because we was right there at the beginning of the pandemic. I want to say it was like June when I got the call to do that. And when I read the script, you know, at that point, it's probably 4 months into the pandemic. This is the first time in my adult life where I actually got to sit down and I got to put things in a perspective for myself, and I got to do some shadow work.
Right.
I got to heal parts of myself that I didn't even know need healing because I was just always on the go. I was always on the move. So when I took that script and then I read it, I was like, yeah, I don't know if I want to do this right now, because I don't know if I want to put myself through that trauma.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Of having to get slammed down or reenact getting killed multiple times. Like, I'm a very spiritual person, and I believe in movie magic to a degree. So it was like, I didn't really want to get involved with that spiritually, especially with where I was. All in all, though, I decided to take on the role because I felt like it aligned with my journey and my purpose, the story that had to be told. And I did it, and, you know, it got an Academy Award, so that was a good thing. But immediately after, that's when I started therapy.
Okay.
Because, it was just having to relive a lot of that stuff that I've actually been through in real life. Like, you know, first time I got stopped and frisked, I was like 11.
Wow.
10 or 11, and, you know, we was playing football on the corner of my grandmother's block, and 2 cops drove up on the sidewalk in an unmarked car, and they tell us get on the wall, and they searching us in our private parts, and we're little kids.
Right.
And my mom and my grandmom is right there, and they can't do nothing.
Yeah.
They can't do nothing about it. You know what I'm saying? So it was a lot of that was kind of brought to life and things like that. And also something that happened that I had an awareness that I did not want to happen was my daughter eventually seen the movie.
Really?
And when she saw it, she didn't see the whole movie, but it was on, you know, it was at the family's house, and it was on, and, you know, the family was watching it, and she kind of, you know, she notices her dad on TV, so she's like, what's going on?
Right.
And, you know, she sees me get killed. And after that, I watched that create like this type of trauma in my daughter. So every time we was outside and we saw the police, my daughter literally asked me at 3 years old, was like, Daddy, are they gonna shoot us? It's, you know what I mean? So it be stuff like that, where it's like with that movie stuff, and like kids are super impressionable. You know what I mean? So you gotta kind of be careful with that type of thing. But how do you balance that when this is like kind of your work?
Yeah.
But then this is your kid trying to understand what it is that you're doing. You know what I mean? So
Therapy helped with that.
therapy did help with that.
Are you still in therapy?
Not at the moment.
No?
Not at the moment. It's been a little while. Currently looking for a new therapist.
Okay.
And that's not an easy process, as I'm sure a lot of people out there know.
Yeah.
So just kind of waiting for the right person right now.
It takes time. In due time.
Yeah, in due time. Yeah, I mean, it's an intentional thought, so it's going to return itself when the time is right.
Right.
Yeah.
Are there
But I
any...
did 4 years, so
That's a lot.
I'm holding on to a lot of tools.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's good.
Yeah.
We gonna get you back though.
No, for sure. For
Yeah.
sure. I need it.
Mhm.
I need it, for sure.
Now, are there any other acting roles that you're excited about these days? Like, what excites you in the work that you do right now?
I think right now, what excites me in the TV and film space is creating opportunities for myself. And what I mean by that is, like, I started my production company this year, and now we're getting involved with the actual creation and the streamlining of ideas, and showing up as not only an actor, but it's like I need some type of autonomy or equity in this thing. You know what I'm saying? If I'm gonna be putting my name and my likeness and my daughter's conscience on the line, like I need to be represented in a different way. So it's been approaching roles from the standpoint of like creating what I want.
Yes.
Rather than responding and waiting for the offers, I'm like, okay, what is stories that I want to actually create that I want to play? So that's like the direction that I'm headed in. Not saying that I'm not gonna do roles that I get offered,
but it has to be aligned.
That's more the direction of where I'm headed at.
Yeah. You talk about spirituality. Where are you spiritually? What have you learned about yourself spiritually these days that you can share and that can empower others who are, trying to figure out where they are in that space?
How does one answer that question?
I mean, it depends.
Where am I spiritually? I say I'm here, there, everywhere.
Protected, of course. That's how I feel spiritually.
Yeah, I definitely feel guided. Definitely, I felt guided my whole life, to be real. Like, there's always was that gut feeling or that instinct.
Right.
Or even just really, like, what feels like direct, divine communication sometimes. But, I think spiritually, I am trying to find more stillness in my life so I can make more time to listen to what God is saying to me. You know what I mean? Rather than taking the reaction from things that happen, from events and experiences. I'm more trying to find that voice or that direction through stillness and calmness.
Okay. Well, look, it sounds like you found the voice, and we're all able to benefit from it through all of your different mediums. We appreciate you always for everything that you do in music, everything that you do on the big screen and in the classroom, Professor. You done taught me a few things today, and we're grateful to have you on BET Talks.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Yes. And that's a wrap, y'all.